Genuinely, this is from a friend, not from me. The company that my friend worked for, and he was an IT guy. He was an architect like me. Let's say they sold a call logging system to their local police force. But actually, the local authority, because there was only a certain amount of people who wanted to come and see it, came in two groups. So then, and Christian's already there.
We just Xeroxed everything basically, so we scanned it in and we shredded the original documents. What are we going to do now? And he's like, yeah, that's going to be a problem.
In this episode, we'll be doing scary stories. I realised that Halloween has been and gone. We quite enjoyed it. We did a bit of trick-or-treating. I'm not saying what I dressed up as. But we've all seen the occasional horror story from an IT perspective, so we thought we'd spend a little bit of time running through some of the more scary elements of our role in IT. And we're going to finish this off with some interesting sound effects, but I'll cover that one in a minute. Okay, over to Lisa for the first story.
So yeah, I think ransomware attacks are very present right now. So we all have, when we think about cybersecurity and cyber attacks, I think one of the first things always comes to mind is a ransomware attack. And there's a lot of money involved, a lot of image loss involved. But for me, it gets really scary when I hear about attacks on hospitals, because there's not just money involved, but there are people's lives involved. And that just is a whole nother level of scariness, in my opinion. So I picked out a story from the University of Vermont Medical Center. It got attacked by a ransomware attack, I think 2 years ago. And the attack disrupted the communication system and patient data system for 28 days. This meant that radiation for people had to stop for a few weeks. So their cancer treatments needed to stop till the patient treatment plans were recovered. That meant that lab results couldn't get onto the floor. People had to be running to the lab and back to the floor because there was no communication going. And it even went that far that they sent people to the supermarket to buy walkie-talkies, because that was their way of communicating between the medical staff. And I think that's just a very scary feeling to think about. Somebody is running down to the lab, maybe while they are needed in an emergency for a patient. And I feel like for a lot of years, when we talked about hospitals and that's kind of stuff, it was about data privacy of the patients. Like, is patients' data going out? Is that affecting the insurance? Is somebody not getting a good enough insurance, especially in the US, because they found out, okay, they are maybe sick. And now it's really getting to the point where it's about patient safety and patients' lives. And they also could see that due to the higher stress in the hospitals, that there are more deaths in hospitals. Not only because treatment is not working, but people are stressed, and they could find in statistics that there's a higher likelihood of you dying when you're in a hospital doing such an attack. And when I hear that, it just makes my stomach go really, really funny. And also what I feel like people don't realize, if one hospital is getting attacked, the other hospitals are under a higher load because patients don't stop getting sick for that moment. And then also in other hospitals, the stress levels are going up for other reasons, but they are still going up. And the likelihood of mistakes and all of that is getting bigger and bigger. And so I just thought, I know it's a little bit of a bummer at the beginning, but I think it's very important to talk about that kind of stuff and not only about money loss and image loss and what can happen there.
I completely agree. I also think that to a certain extent they're very much a soft target as well. You know, in a wartime perspective, you would kind of avoid hospitals, and yet for some reason they seem to be open season from a ransomware point of view. I do think that's not fair. Although I suppose these people aren't really thinking of fair. But also, I think IT wise, they're not the most highly protected environments on the planet, or quite often they're using old operating systems. They're running old software because of the fact that it's what runs the machines that they're using. I think that certainly it's a real, it's a relatively soft target from a ransomware perspective, but it has such an impact on human lives. Seems horrendous.
I think the problem is not only the old stuff, but it's often also that, especially for smaller hospitals, the people in charge of doing IT there are some doctors who started to take over IT several years ago. So it's not their expertise. Then they don't have the right amount of funding to take a look at security. It's at least here in Germany. That's where I know a little bit about it. But I think that's the same in the whole world. A very, very large problem. Absolutely.
But their role is primarily to save lives. So they're spending their money on the things that will save lives. They're not spending their money on replacing operating systems on old PCs that they've had for 10 years. It's not where they should be spending their time. At the same time, they have to interact with more and more cloud services also there, with some guest Wi-Fi for all the patients, streaming and bandwidth and everything that is involved somehow there. That all has to be kept up. So it's not an easy job, I think, to be in there. And Lisa, you said those guys, the ransomware groups, maybe they don't really think about it. There was one occasion where a university in Germany was attacked, or it was a hospital, university hospital, like a learning hospital. Normally they are very, very good hospitals because they have the most modern approach to medicine. And the ransomware gang, once they found out that they really attacked a hospital, they immediately brought in the key to decrypt everything, because they wanted to attack the university and not the hospital. But I think that's a very, very rare occasion. Wow.
Oftentimes it's just, give me money. Yeah.
And I mean, the chance of getting the money there is quite high because the stakes are very, very high. You cannot just say, okay, we sit this one out. We just wait and it will go away eventually, or we put in the backup or something like that.
It's difficult to identify who pays it, though, isn't it? Because the hospitals aren't necessarily cash-rich organizations.
And you?
Oh, we all do eventually, yes, I guess. Yes, that's so true. Yeah. But that's definitely scary, Lisa. No doubt about that. Christian, would you like to go next?
Yes, I also have a scary story, in my opinion. It's not the newest one, but I think it's very important to see how large scale some things can become before somebody realizes it. I'm talking about an event that was uncovered by, I think his name is Daniel Kriesel. And he was doing some security, or actually he wasn't doing security research. He was doing work. They were in his company, I think, building a new office. And while copying floor plans, he suddenly saw that some numbers have been changed between the original and the copy of the room plan. Suddenly, the square meter number changed. And this was not done with some OCR software being something scanned to the PC or something. It was really just a plain old multifunction device where he put his plan at the top, he pressed copy, and then he got something different out.
What?
Yep.
The photocopier changed the number.
Exactly. And then he dug into it. He talked to the vendor. Vendor didn't react at first. And then he was also a member of the Chaos Computer Club. So his, I would say, natural interest was awakened, or was, I don't know, what's the English word?
Yeah, peaked. It piqued his interest, I guess.
It piqued his interest to take a closer look there. And then he found out that it is really the case that numbers are changing when he does some copies. It depended on the size of the numbers. So if it's like in 20 points or in 8 points, there was a difference. And it also changed when he was using a special format. And I think that format is called, let me check that, JBIG2 and soft pattern matching. Those two techniques were included in the copying system, and they were so what they were doing was not just plainly taking a look at where is something dark and where is something light and then do an exact copy of that. The printer itself did a kind of internal OCR and then analyzed the picture and brought it out again. And during that process, some numbers have been changing.
Wow.
He could completely reproduce that. He then also contacted the vendor. Vendor finally found out, oh, yes, he's right. And then they said, okay, we will have a patch here. They said, okay, now we're done. You can download the latest patch and it's okay. And he found out, yeah, in one particular version without any compression, it was fixed, but in every other version, it was not. So it kept another round. And finally, I think half a year later, Xerox was the company. They officially stated, yes, there is an immediate update for all the printers out in the world of some specific types of printers that need to be patched because it would simply alter your copies.
Wow.
This is really crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it's bonkers. You don't imagine they're actually changing the contents. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah. And the reason it came up was because in the room plan, a very small room had more square numbers than a really big room. And because normally you don't check the square numbers of the room, but somebody looked at it and was like, that can't work. How is there's double the square meters of the other room, but it's so much smaller. And this David Kriesel even got called by big archives that were like, we just Xeroxed everything basically. So we scanned it in and we shredded the original documents. What are we going to do now? And he's like, yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Oh my word! Why would you shred your originals in favor of copies?
Digitalization.
So they scanned it. They didn't copy it. They completely digitalized it. And that's the answer you don't want to hear.
No, what you do there is sue Xerox, isn't it? Is that what you do there? I'm not sure. Let's not go there. But yeah, no. Or you get your tape measure out. That's the other possibility.
And finally, in March 2015, the whole thing unveiled, I think, in 2013, right? Yes, 2013. And in 2015, the German Federal Office for Safety and Information Technology completely banned the use of that protocol or of that compressing mechanism JBIG2 because of that problem that was included there or is included still.
Wow.
So,
amazing.
Yeah, really scary if you think about how many thousands of devices are still out there changing numbers because maybe somebody didn't get the memo that they should be patched.
Just astounding that it's reading it in and OCRing it. That is just a little bit bonkers. You would think like, whoa, why are you doing that? Anyway, that is nuts.
For me, how he started his presentation when he presented it in the Chaos Computer Club is with Obama's birth document, because Obama got accused that he faked his birth document, and they now think it was a Xerox problem because it looks like numbers were copied and looked exactly the same in some places, and it looked like it was tampered with, but now they think it was Xerox and the algorithm behind it. Yeah.
So that's the political dimension of it. It's really, really crazy.
Okay, good, scary story. Now, and one that's probably going to have impacts for a long time in the future by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and I think really many people don't know about it.
I certainly do.
And there's nothing that you can do. If you get a copy, you don't know if it's been Xeroxed or not. I really like Xeroxing as a verb.
Nice. But not as a hobby. No.
No.
And if you were doing that, what would you Xerox? I suppose. But let's not go there as well, because that's Christmas parties. Okay, good. So I've got a scary story. This didn't happen to me. I know this sounds like I'm doing this for a friend situation, but this is from a friend, not from me. So just for future reference. Okay, many years ago. This is a lot of years ago. I don't know how many years ago, if I'm being honest, but maybe 13, something like that. The company that my friend worked for, he was an IT guy. He was an architect like me, and essentially they had sold. I'm changing all sorts of details on this, but let's say they sold a call logging system to their local police force. So the local authority had paid for a new call logging system for their local police force, and they had very specific requirements, because this is a key system for the police, and it's a key system for the community, and it's really something really quite important. So they'd made sure that the system was as redundant as possible. And you had multiple racks of systems, dual arrays, synchronously mirrored, fully redundant RAID sets on the systems themselves. So literally everything that happened, there was a primary and a secondary, but everything that happened on the primary would immediately be synchronized to the secondary, and there's an automatic failover and all this sort of business. So they were very pleased with their system and delivered it to the police, and it was working quite happily. Thank you very much. And this is maybe slightly shorter than some of the other stories, but shortly after delivery, after the system was working, the account manager, who was obviously rightfully pleased with the solution that had been provided, was taking round the local authority who had paid for the system in 2 trips to show them what they provided for them and to show them what it was doing, etc. And he was in the server room demonstrating the servers and just sort of pointing out the functionality. And as part of this process, he pulled a disk on one of the arrays. So literally pulled the drive out of the array, and obviously broke that array by doing so. But the array was RAIDed, so therefore the data still maintained. And when he put the drive back in, there was a rebuild process that would then go through to be able to actually resync that array. But actually, the local authority, because there was only a certain amount of people who wanted to come and see it, came in 2 groups. So then, and Christian's already there. So he then went and did the second group to come and look at the system. But this time, because it was a synchronous mirror, he pulled the array disk from the other mirror. And the rebuild hadn't quite finished on the first mirror, so he bust the entire system by pulling the second drive. So, and that is a true story. But it took them quite some time to rebuild it, but they got it back up and running again. Thank you very much. But yeah, not a good idea. So, and I don't know about you guys, I have actually pulled drives on a RAID array, so I've done it as demonstration before now. But yeah, needless to say, you've got to understand how RAID works before you actually go ahead and do it. So yeah, it's that is a true story with regard to redundant systems can be destroyed.
Yeah, but that one was a layer 8 mistake.
Yes, layer 8. Fully off the network.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, I think he didn't sleep well that night.
No, to be honest with you, I'm not. I bet he didn't. But to be fair, did you get the sinking feeling as well? I got the sinking feeling when I heard the story, and I thought, yes, yeah, I've been. Yeah. So what we thought we'd do for the rest of the episode was technology sounds from the grave. Again, our Halloween themed episode. So the idea here is that we each bring some sounds and play them to the other 2 pairs and see if you can remember what they are. These are all from technology that is from the past that you probably would remember, to see if you can guess what they are. So let's start. Christian, would you like to do your first one? Let's do one each and go around the table each, shall we? So, Christian, if you can do your first one, let's see how we go from there.
So I'm thinking about which one to be the first one, but I think I'll start very easy. Let's see if that works.
Okay, Lisa Marie.
We died in Super Mario, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking Super Mario. So what? What's that from? They're not a DS. It's even earlier than that. Is it a Game Boy?
It's the first one, the NES version.
The NES version. Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Good. Wow. All the Super Mario. Good work. Okay, Lisa. Do you want to do your first one?
Yeah, I can go for it. Oh my god.
You're in a closet. Okay.
Yes.
Christian, go for it.
Yeah, I think in English it's called dot matrix printer. In Germany, we call it, damn, I forgot the word.
I just know it as a Nadeldrucker.
Nadeldrucker, exactly. Yes, thanks.
Nice.
And that would be my second thing, so I have to change now. Okay, good.
Yeah, nice. Good work, you. Okay. If this is too loud, then let me know. But this is my first one. Oh, hello. Are you ready to say no. Okay, sorry. Wait for the advert to finish. There'll be a bit of that because I'm using YouTube. He says, stand by. Oh no, it's actually skipped. Sorry, stand by. Okay, so here's my first one. Can you guess what this is? Okay, can anybody else guess that at home? If so, pause the video now. Okay, Christian, any ideas?
I have an idea, but I think Lisa said she knows it, so I'll give it over to her.
No, I have the problem. I know that sound, but I don't know where from.
Then I would say it's either Windows Vista or Windows 2000.
No, neither.
Okay.
That's a PlayStation 2 starting up.
Oh, my good. PlayStation 2.
Yeah, PlayStation 2. There you go. Cool. Okay, so nice. Christian, do you want to do your next one?
I think that's also pretty easy. Do it again. Right.
Okay, I know that one. Lisa?
Yeah, I know that one too. That was totally my time. We did everything via ICQ.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. Well, okay, it may be ICQ, but I think I know where it came from then, because I think that's... Oh, is it? Maybe not then. I think it may be one of the sounds from Lemmings. Because I'm pretty sure that when you ask a lemming to blow up, it goes, oh, it goes...
It's similar. It's similar, but it's not the same. Good one.
No, okay, good. Yeah, good one. Nice one.
Memories.
Yes. Now, it's definitely Windows. The question is which Windows? So I'm going with XP. Go on then, Christian. What do you think?
I would say it's 3.11.
Really? Go on then, Lisa.
It's Windows 95.
95.
Okay. Good.
Okay, somewhere between those two then, really. We just missed out ME in the middle.
Yeah, we just combine it, then we're correct.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. This one is an interesting one. I don't know whether you'll get this one. Okay. Wow. Okay. Is there anything?
It's a no for me.
It's a no for you. You need to be properly geeked. You could probably name the piece of classical music if you really wanted to. Okay, this is my geekness sort of taking over. And I don't know if anybody got this listening, but that is the docking sequence from Elite. The docking sequence with the docking computer is always that piece of music. That was the Amiga version of it. Does everyone know what Elite is, even? No? Seriously, guys? Outrageous. Call yourself an OT geek.
I never did that. I never said.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just goes to prove it's me, doesn't it? Right. Okay. Go, Christian. You got one more for us?
One more. Let's see. What do you think is this? Okay, not the second one.
Yeah, not the second one. Lisa, do you want to go first?
It sounds like rewinding a VHS tape or something like that.
I don't think it was a VHS tape. I think it was a tape drive. It was a D90, that sort of stuff. It was a normal audio cassette you used for loading up a Spectrum or a Commodore 64.
I think I'll let that count, Tony. That's a normal cassette, but you're both pretty close.
Yep. Too much geeking.
So
I was thinking about, Tony, if I should bring in the old squeak sounds for the D90 cassettes if you put it into your audio player, but that would be too much, I think, for our ears.
Possibly. You'll be bleeding by the end of the podcast.
Yes.
That's my one.
Ooh. Okay, got it. Okay, I've got it. You got it, Christian?
No, I have something in my mind, but Tony, go.
I think that's Space Invaders.
That's Space Invaders.
Is that what you had as well? Yeah. Okay, we could have put Defender on there as well. That would have really freaked everybody out. But there you go. Yeah, that's great.
Do you know there's an augmented reality version of Space Invaders now? You can put your mobile out into your city, and then you will see Space Invaders come into your world. That's really
amazing.
That is ridiculous. Oh my word! Right, okay. I've got another weird one. So just give me a second. I've got to set this up. Do you get that? I'm sorry, I've gone over geek, haven't I? Really, in this situation. Go on.
No, I'm thinking if this was a Nokia SMS sound or something like that.
You are very close. Not a Nokia.
Then it was an Ericsson.
No, it was the other one that did all the weird stuff that was extremely popular and is now no longer with us. Properly from the grave.
The one with the trackball.
The one with the track? Oh, no, not necessarily. The one with the proper keyboard.
Yeah, the one with the trackball and the keyboard.
Yeah, that's the one.
The BlackBerry Bold things.
Yeah, it's a BlackBerry. That's a BlackBerry message alert.
Yes, that's where I got it from. Okay. I might still have one old BlackBerry at my basement or so.
They're still with us as well, just not doing mobile phones anymore. Great, guys. Thanks very much for that. Cheers for bringing some sound effects. It's been quite a trip down memory lane, but I've thoroughly enjoyed that. Hopefully you heard them at home. Hopefully you got a few of them. I'm sorry mine were a little bit too esoteric. So thanks very much for joining in with this week's podcast, and we'll see you again next week.